I'm assuming none of you really thought about what you have in common with a chameleon. But I did. I saw the similarities with our mental health, how it behaves and how it portrays ourselves. It's adaptable, unique, changeable, and expressive. And my colors have really changed when it comes to my healing and my different cultural upbringings. I'm not exactly German or European that much. I came from Syria, where I was raised, and moved to Berlin because of the war. I faced many challenges in this period, and it was mainly my language barrier. I didn't really speak English nor German, bless you, it really killed my social life and lowered my grades, which terrified me. And that's generally because I grew up in a Middle Eastern household where academic achievement is praised. And being seen as nerdy and the crazy cat lady of class 4A, 5A, until now, relatively, it was hard to make friends at first. It was hard for me to be liked, so I forced myself to change. I adapted to what people wanted me to be. I adapted to my environment, and I mainly adapted in the hopes of being liked. Teacher's pet, pick-me girl, and the masculine girl who wanted to be one of the boys were my most embarrassing and memorable phases. And it was mentally draining to the point where 9-year-old me diagnosed herself with depression. And I know that's stigmatized to do, but it was my comfort space. But when you see, and it's hard to imagine that a child can be that emotionally vulnerable, but when you read reports by PLOS One or Eurostat, you find out that the rate of depression amongst immigrant children is around 20.1%, while the rate for adults is around 15.6%. And if you do the math correctly, it's around 7.6 billion people out of 21.4 million people, immigrants, that moved to Germany in 2015, became depressed. And that's a third, as you can see here. That's about a third. You can't really see the colors, but approximately till here, there is black for depression, and there are, on the other side, the majority, which are not depressed. And my experience had led me to go to my friends and go for support. But with my confrontation for my emotions, I was left wounded. My emotions were dismissed not because my friends had bad intentions, but because they didn't know. They didn't know what depression could look like other than the person who didn't get out of bed, was sad, constantly crying, and is shy. For me, it was mainly the unwillingness to live. So here am I to teach you about some realistic points of view that have helped me in my toughest times and have helped me become the person I am now. Number one is seeing that depression is not just caused by the imbalance of hormones in your brain. Serotonin, dopamine, or norepinephrine are actually caused by your genes reacting with your environment that lead to this imbalance and create new neuron paths, or strengthening others. According to Stanford Medicine, depression is around 50% biological, by genes like chromosome 3p25-26, and the rest of it is environmental. Bullying, excessive usage of social media, etc. are some few examples that are well known. And this ratio is different for every individual. Not to dismiss your concerns, but of course there are definitely factors that have to do with hormones, like I said before, that affect how vulnerable you are to development of depression or increasing your depression rate. 2, I want to say that self-hate should be given a bit of credit. And I know that's kind of a bit out of the normal scene, but according to the Mental Health National Library of Medicine, it's about 18% linked to mental health illnesses. And being self-critical can be bad, but when kept to good system, it can show you what can be removed or improved, and therefore can show you what can be changed. Whether it's toxic friend or habit that you may have, it gives you a good point of view on what you want in your life. And here to say I come to the last point, which is that before you focus on yourself, truly focus on yourself, focus a bit on others to get to know your morals. And the Western, educated, industrialized, rich and democratic country that we live in, Germany, also relatively weird, is quite individualistic. Yeah. It basically is based off capitalistic profit, of ideas like working out, buying skincare products, starving yourself till you're pretty, and being skinny to fit the beauty standards are some of the most common things teenagers struggle with. And here I'm not to say that those are bad things, except for the one about starving. That's bad. But when when you're in a good condition to see what your true morals are, you decide what products to use out of the willingness to improve your life, not just because you want to improve your life in the eyes of others. And a good example of this would be the case of Lisa. It was studied by Jean Harris in the book Lost Connections, and it's about this nurse who became depressed by her work environment. Her morals were to treat patients correctly and treat everyone fairly, though she was bullied and many patients were disrespected. And this led her to having depression and having a high antidepressant dosage. And this led her and her psychotherapist to decide on going to this social experiment in which a group of depressed people are put together to achieve this goal of rebuilding and creating this new park out of an old abandoned one. And in this 1 year and a half, many mistakes were made, though the outcome was significant for her and her team members. A higher sense of community was created, better career for her, and a new profession of gardening, and true and genuine connections in which her productivity increased and a sense of well-being was established. This shows that when you learn your true morals by doing things for others and working in a team or environment that supports you, you can learn what you should do and how you should assess your life. And here am I to say that if you're a teacher, parent, guardian, or a student that knows a bit about mental health, or just your story, please share it. Please share it with the people around you in order to increase curiosity about mental health, minimizing stigma, increasing the acceptance we have in this community, while creating a safe environment and open space for people of all ages to finally learn to correctly verbalize their emotions and removing all of the negative associations that have to do with depression. So I thank you for coming to the previous TED Talks and mine, and wish you a good day.